is the foundation for us, because we know all the other stuff isn't working. Just the good talk, the good books, all the seminars and workshops, because it doesn't change the heart. Heart change is what's required. But the acceptance of the functional role of husband and wife is a hard issue. And you know when the heart is right to function in that role, because it is embraced. You literally, you love the idea of being that leader, being that bound, that, as the word husband means house band, connecting and keeping together the whole family. When you know that and you have that desire, then moving forward, you grow. But again, this is not saying there's anybody perfect out there, because that's not what I'm saying. There's no perfect husband, there's no perfect wife. But the heart, when you have made up in your mind that this is what you desire to be, and you are committed to that thing, then it's not hard work, it's not with regret and grind, it is embracing it because you know that is what you desire. I love the idea, I always have, of being trusted to be a husband and a father. I love the idea, I always have, even as a child, of creating an environment in my home, a growth-minded environment where my children could establish a foundation that when they left the house, they can go and soar. Foundation of understanding of finances, of understanding of health, of the rhythm of living, of their self-discipline and self-reliance, and how to do things in excellence with a high standard. All those things, I believe, were the foundation that a home is to provide, so that when they leave that home, they are literally have the foundation to be able to do what God has purposed for their life. And when they don't have that foundation, you and I, all of us know what it looks like when you don't. Bankrupt, enabled, entitled, lazy, no standard, bad health, right? And love to be entertained, not productive, not progressing, right? Literally stagnant. None of us desire that for our children. So our homes, I always believe, because I saw it in others, I always believe that the home was to be that, not just fun and all that, but that was important too, but a foundation, an environment by which they were groomed and developed to become mature, fully ready adults when they left your home. And so that's why I so embraced as a child all the things that I thought would help me be that man, that husband, that father. And it is refreshing to know that there are men out there who desire that as well.
Can I pause you right there, Mr. Wiggins, and kind of throw a personal testimony in there? And this may lead into discussing your intensive. Back probably maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, maybe we discussed me coming down to Dallas, and part of that discussion was to come in and do some intensive looking at the business. How do we want to grow? And I was all prepared for that, and I said, well, maybe good for the wife to come as well, since we work together. And you kind of did a switcher up on me, because we got there, and it was completely eye-opening for us, because we spent very little time with the business, and the majority of our time, I think over a couple of days, dealing with our marriage and our home. And what that did for us is really put us on the operating table. And there was a time where we couldn't run from the issues anymore. I don't know if any of you all on this meeting time have ever been held hostage, or have you ever seen a movie where someone was held hostage? Well, that's what it felt like. We had no choice but to put our hands up and empty our pockets, so to speak, in a spiritual way, but also in a natural way. And what that did for us is really put things in perspective. We were just really operating haphazardly. We were negligent as providers in our own home. And I think that was really the inspiration that led me to put this together, because I want people to know that there is help out there. There is resources available And sometimes people say they can't afford something. Well, if you value your marriage, you can't afford not to. And I don't know about you all, but I don't want to start over again. I'm good with what I've got. I'd rather invest in what I've got and make it better than to try to start over and do all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to throw that in there because that really opened us up for a very it exposed us in a way that we said, oh wow, we've got to make some changes, and we've implemented those changes and are continuing to implement those changes, and it has drastically changed our relationship.
Yeah, that's good, Maurice. And I was so happy to see not only you and your wife, your bride, come here with the expectation of working on the business, but the business is a direct reflection of your hearts because you both understand the power of working together. My experience has been from the standpoint of a business person is when other business friends would call me and say, hey man, I'm struggling in this area. Will you come in and help me? And they were asking for that help from me because my business showed the kind of results that they desired.
Yes.
And so I would come to their business and I would look at everything. Matter of fact, I would start off at their home early morning. I wanted to see what happened from the time he woke up to the time he went to bed. And many of the guys couldn't understand, why do you want to be at my house at 5 a.m. and see what I do from the time I wake up before I even get to the office or the building, whatever it is, my business? And I would say, because this is letting me know what's the real. And so we would go through all the process, and by the end of the day or two, I would come back with a report of what needs to be changed and what needs to be tweaked. And a lot of times those guys would say, okay, I want that change, but what I don't know how to do is how to put it in place because I've been running this business all these years and the people know my old ways. And when I try to implement this thing, there's a good chance that it won't work. Same thing applies to the home. And what I say to guys is what all of us need is someone to hold us accountable in doing that thing until it becomes our new way of doing it. Well, men place value in a lot of times the wrong places. I know I did. So our value is connected to, if we're clear in who we are and clear in our vision, we place value in our vision. Your vision should include what your business looks like, what your home looks like, what your relationships, what your health, what your influence in society looks like. It should include a fully integrated life. Mine did. So I was very clear on what I would dress like, where I would live, what my impact would be in the community, how I would influence leaders, right? I was so clear as a child in that when I saw it not happening, I kept saying, what's wrong? What has happened to me? Because even some of my closer friends would say, Joel, what's going on with you? This is not you. And I had to begin to check myself and things around me. And I noticed I was willing to spend $20, $30, $50,000 to go and learn something that would help my business become better. Easily would spend that, even more than that. But then I noticed that I was not willing to necessarily spend that kind of resources to help make the other areas of my life better, whether that was health or whatever. Wherever a man, the reason why we charge handsomely for it is because first, we're cheaper than a divorce attorney. That's important. And second, if a man does not put value on a thing with his pocket, he will never, ever value it enough to see the need to apply it. Never will. And so men make priority whatever they want to. So we not only charge a handsome price for it, and obviously my time is worth a great value, but also because it shows the level of commitment you have to what you say you desire. When I bring people in, and we've now opened up 80 slots for the next 12 months for men who want to bring their spouse or just come by themselves. If you're married and you have a wife that wants to work with you and wants to help your vision, bring her. If not, then we just work with you on your own one-on-one. And it's 2 days. And Maurice, as you said, is very intensive. It really helps to strip you down to almost being naked, and then helps to rebuild us in you what you truly desire, which I believe to be God's will for your life, so that you can be clear as to who you are and what you want for your life, including your home. Well, if a man is trying to piecemeal it together, and so many guys are, they're trying to piecemeal their home life together. and it's not working. And it's the same stuff and no progress and no real growth. It's because anything you try to piecemeal, you will never, ever see fully manifest the will of God in that area. So again, marriage is a two-headed animal. One head, one being the head, but there's two people who have to be on the same page. Very easy to tell when they're not. But you can manage it where you still have progress, but the ideal is two in line with one vision, clearly with a heart and desire to function in their role, with no other agenda other than to build that vision clearly, that it manifests, bring glory to God, and God willing, your children are developed to be able to inherit that kingdom. Mm. So that's what we do when we do that 2-day intensive, and then we allow you the opportunity after that intensive to go have a weekly or bi-weekly accountability one-on-one with me or another kingmaker to help make sure your life becomes fully integrated and that you begin to reflect the will of God in all your areas. So that's why it's like taking your business and stripping it down, but we first deal with you as an individual and your home life, because there is no, and I say this, and I want everyone to write this down because this is very true. I don't care how much success you have in the business world. If you do not have true people in your home on the same page pushing towards your vision, you will never be happy. There's no amount of Lamborghinis, Bentleys, and money in the bank and suits in the closet that could give you that joy that you're looking for, which only comes by way of Christ. But what you really want is to get that from your home. When you know you have someone that's for you and down with you, and she knows that you are leading and clear in vision, and she is down to support that, man, you got something. And our role is to be clear in our vision, be very clear in the disciplines of what it takes to accomplish that on a daily basis, not perfection, looking for progress. And that is how we are to lead anything. And it especially starts with our homes.
That's good. That's good. Well, we're at about 12:36 here Eastern Standard Time. If we do get kicked out, everyone, I promise you I will communicate with you all and make sure that we get information back to you. Mr. Wiggins, right now we've got a lot of folks. We've got domestic violence going up. We have folks who are separating. We have issues where finances are going array because grocery bills and all those types of things are going up. Yeah. People's stress level is through the roof. How do you maintain any level of sanity as we're dealing with this quarantine?
So, Marcus, let me answer that question from this perspective. As a business owner, leader of employees, and you have vendors and suppliers and all those that are connected to you directly and indirectly, when times of crisis comes, and they do come, it's very cyclical business. If it's good one year, next year it can all go down, and we know that, things that are sometimes you didn't even foresee happening. The people around you are looking to you for your leadership, for your sense of calm, poise that says it's going to be okay. So it all starts with you, the leader. It doesn't mean internally you're not anxious about things and how you're going to make payroll and all of that, but you know the importance of you representing the calm, the poise, the leader that says we're going to be okay. Well, that applies also to the home. Mm-hmm. When you're clear as to your role is to say, this is where we're headed. This is who we are. This is how we operate. The external disruptions do not cause an unease or a lack of peace in the soul when you are clear from the beginning as to who you are and the disciplines by which you operate. Now, that we understand that for business, it should be applied to everything in life. But when these things come, and they do come, and it could be death in the families, it could be a lot of things in the home that can happen. One, there must be trust in yourself as a leader and